Hey guys, it's Dr. Price with Action Potential Mentoring, and I'm just chilling in bed, but I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown on some of the things that we talked about yesterday at our interview preparation session for everybody that's applying for the match this year. So first question that you're going to most commonly get is, so tell me about yourself. And so this is every single interview essentially is going to ask you this at some point throughout the interview day, if not with every single interviewer. So the first thing you need to think of is be concise. I usually recommend to start off with saying where you're from, a tie-in to medicine, and then number 3, you can kind of say why this specialty or some of the hobbies that brought you to this position in life. And so this is your elevator pitch. This is 60 to 120 seconds. And you want this to be impactful, quick, and hard-hitting. This is the stuff that if they know nothing else about you throughout the interview day, this is the stuff that they remember. And so some tips and feedback that I gave one of my mentees is he said, I just really enjoy math and science. I would really stray away from those type of comments during your elevator pitch because it's so common. So try to talk about some of the unique aspects of your personality. Next thing is keep it super streamlined. If you practice no other part of the interview process, you don't do a single other mock interview or anything, this is the part that you need to practice. Practice with loved ones, family, friends, a mentor. Just get it down. You're going to get asked it. You already know this. This is your heads up. And then lastly, have a finalizing comment. That's something like, and this is what brings me here today. And I just wanted to, before we get started, thank you so much for this opportunity to meet you as well as the rest of the team. All right. Point number 2 that you need to know for interview day. You might get a question that's like, so tell me about a strength and a weakness that you have. So for your strengths, you could say stuff like team player, you're resilient, you're good at taking constructive feedback. And the reason that you need to be specific with this question is because you don't want to just say those traits and then leave it at that. You want to give something that is unique from your past and then give a specific example that will tie into the character trait that you just addressed. And then for the weakness, I highly recommend against giving one of your strengths and saying that the strength is a weakness. This is super, super common, but it's just so overdone in the interview process that we hear it dozens of times a day when we're interviewing applicants. And so people will say, my weakness is my resilience, and I never know when to give up. Stuff like that is really played out. And so I would say something along the lines of, and this is what I personally said whenever I interviewed 4 years ago, I said, my internal GPS is so bad that I always get lost when I'm out in public. And so the thing that I did with that is I didn't tie it into a tangible skill that I would need as a vascular surgery resident. I tied it into something from my personal life. And so this is going to get you some good laughs. Don't use this specific example if it's not true for you, of course, but try to tie it to something that's kind of tangential to residency. It's not really specific like, I'm not a good team player. You don't want to say stuff like that because then they're going to be like, well, that's kind of a red flag. So you want to be honest, but also the best way is to navigate it around something that's tangentially related to residency. And of course, you want to give a specific example with this. Question number 3, if you could pick a different career outside of medicine or outside of this specialty, what would it be? And so this is a common question that people ask during the interview day. And I wouldn't aim for a different specialty. I wouldn't say like if you're applying for, let's say, pediatrics, you wouldn't want to say, I'd rather do internal medicine as another option. Instead of saying that, I would say something that's totally unrelated to medicine and something that showcases one of your hobbies or outside interests, something as a vet, an architect, literally anything that interests you that's not medically related, I think is a safe way to go about that question. All right, next question that you might commonly get, number 4, is why this specialty? So I like to break this down into 3 parts. Number 1, discuss your first venture or your exposure into the field. Give that about 30 seconds. Number 2, you want to integrate your current adventures into the specialty, into the discussion so they know your level of exposure and expertise. And then number 3 is give specific examples of your dedication. So if you went above and beyond and have different certifications, additional trainings, personal experiences, family tie-ins, whatever it is, integrate it into that 3rd section of this question. Number 5, if they say, do you plan on doing a fellowship? What should you say? Well, if you mention this, it's preferable to tell the program a fellowship that they actually have, because then they might want to keep you later down on the road. This is something that I see pretty commonly for our Gen Surg applicants at my program. We have a trauma critical care fellowship, we have a vascular surgery fellowship, and oftentimes if people are interested in those fellowships, they just might stay on and become the fellow after they go through their 5 years of training. So that's a safe answer for that. But a good quote that's pretty fair game is something along the lines of, I want to learn the basics to be a safe and efficient general surgeon while keeping my other options open. And so this can be, of course, adjusted for non-surgical specialties. You could say, I would like to become a well-rounded hospitalist with an open mind, and I will go from there once I've been exposed to all the different fellowships and opportunities. So those are the top 5 things that I would keep in mind during your interview day. There's, of course, more questions. These are just some of the top 5 that I commonly ask whenever people come to my program. And I think I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, this is just a biohacking experiment that I'm doing right now. It's to increase the nitric oxide in the oxygen delivery through your nose. Helps you reinforce your nasal breathing. So just something fun, but I figured I'd get some DMs or questions asking about that, so I wanted to touch on it. Anyways, that's all I got. I just wanted to shoot off this super quick video. If you have any questions, let me know. Best of luck, everyone.